All right, let's get right into it. We're talking about one of the biggest mysteries in human history. It's a story that starts in a remote cave in Siberia and just completely flips the script on what we thought we knew about our own past.
I know, it sounds like something straight out of a movie, right? But this actually happened. And the discovery, well, it was a total bombshell. It sent shockwaves through the entire scientific community.
So picture this. It's 2008. Archaeologists are working in this place called Denisova Cave in Siberia, and they find this. Just a tiny, tiny little piece of a pinky finger bone from a young girl. The initial thought? Okay, probably a Neanderthal. But then they ran the DNA and oh boy, were they in for a shock. Because that DNA, it wasn't Neanderthal, and it wasn't us, Homo sapiens. It was something completely new, a totally unknown branch of the human family. So they named them the Denisovans, right after the cave where this whole mystery started.
And just like that, everything we thought was a neat and tidy story about human evolution got thrown out the window. Suddenly, we had proof that while our ancestors were out there, there was this other, mysterious type of human living right alongside them. A third player in the game.
And here's where it gets really weird. We have almost no physical proof they existed. I mean, we're talking a couple of bone fragments, a few teeth. That's it. But their genetic legacy? It's huge. It's alive and well inside the DNA of millions of people walking around right now. And I mean, it's not just a little trace here and there. We're talking about populations in places like Papua New Guinea who have up to 5% Denisovan DNA. You also see it in indigenous Australians, in Tibetans, all across Asia. And that tells us something really important. Our ancestors didn't just bump into them. They had families with them. So that's the big question, isn't it? If they left such a massive mark on our DNA, who were they? What did they look like? Well, the very few fossils we have, they're starting to paint one heck of a picture. Okay, get this. There's a skull found in China. They call it the Dragon Man. That's believed to be Denisovan. Its brain case might have been 20% bigger than ours. 20%! We've also found a jawbone in Tibet that's literally twice as thick as ours, with these absolutely massive teeth. I mean, it's clear these weren't just slightly different humans. They were seriously robust. But it wasn't just about being bigger and stronger. Their real edge was hidden in their genes. When scientists dug into their DNA, they found what you could almost call genetic superpowers, traits and abilities that our own ancestors just didn't have. Like, you know how people in Tibet can live at these crazy high altitudes without any problem? Well, that ability comes from a gene called EPAS1. And guess where they got it? From the Denisovans. They also passed on genes for a supercharged immune system. Some scientists even think their cells aged much, much slower, which could mean they lived way longer, healthier lives than anyone else on the planet. Okay, so they're physically imposing, they have these incredible genetic gifts, but just when you think you're starting to figure them out, the story gets even crazier. Because their biology is amazing, sure, but their technology, it's what really blows your mind. Back in that same cave, archaeologists found this beautiful, polished bracelet made from a green gemstone. It's about 70,000 years old. But here's the kicker. There's a tiny, perfectly straight hole drilled right through it. To do that, you'd need a high-speed drill, something our ancestors wouldn't figure out how to make for another 60,000 years. And that's not all. They also found the world's oldest sewing needle, 50,000 years old, with a perfect little eye for thread. One expert put it perfectly. He said finding this stuff is like finding a brand new iPhone inside an Egyptian pyramid. That's how big the technology gap is. It just shows a level of skill that was absolutely, completely off the charts for that time. And we're not just talking about tools here. They were making art. We found beads made from ostrich eggs, symbolic carvings, and that kind of stuff. That's a huge deal. It points to abstract thought, to a higher level of thinking, and it almost certainly means they had a complex language to communicate these big ideas. So, let's recap. We've got this species that's physically tougher than us, genetically gifted, and tens of thousands of years ahead of us in technology. Which leads to the billion-dollar question. Where did they all go? Why aren't they here now? Well, there are a couple of big theories. Theory one is pretty dark. It's basically the first genocide. The idea is that as Homo sapiens, our ancestors, spread out, we were just more numerous, maybe more aggressive, and we wiped them out. Theory two points to a massive disaster,
About 12,800 years ago, the climate went haywire in an event called the Younger Dryas, maybe from a comet hitting the Earth. This could have caused massive floods and chaos that just buried their civilization for good.
Whichever one it was, the end result is the same. An entire civilization, one that could have been global and was definitely super advanced, was just erased, almost completely gone, with just a few mysterious clues left behind for us to find.
And it really makes you think, doesn't it? I mean, if an entire branch of the human family, an advanced one at that, could just disappear from history, what else are we missing? What other huge chapters of our own story have been completely forgotten?
The story of the Denisovans is it's such a powerful reminder that history isn't some dusty old book that's already been written. It's this massive, unexplored territory. And there are still so many secrets waiting for us, maybe right under our feet. It just leaves you with one final thought.